View from the Bay starts now. Hi, welcome to The View from the Bay. We're live and in HD. Today is Tuesday, August 21st. I'm Janelle Wang.
And I'm Spencer Christian. Great to have all of you with us. And a special welcome to those of you watching us online as we're streamed live by our friends at Comcast. Big show for you today. Okay, now we're going to talk about mortgages. A recent mortgage loan crisis is causing anxiety for lots of families as consumers are finding it more difficult to borrow money. Well, we have some hopeful, reassuring advice for you today from the author of this book, The Savvy Woman's Home Buying Handbook. Welcome back, attorney, real estate broker, and author, Tara Nicole Nelson. Good to have you back with us.
Thanks for having me back.
Apparently the book is doing well.
It is. It's exciting.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Now, why is it that right now it's so difficult to borrow money,
Yes.
mortgage money?
Well, we have had, with the increase in foreclosures and mortgage delinquencies, we have actually, in the last 3 or 4 months, seen about 120 mortgage lenders go entirely out of business. That is, it's a devastating reality for buyers in this home buying market.
So that causes the lenders to tighten up the lending policies?
Definitely. Really what's happened is most of the foreclosures and delinquencies were concentrated among homeowners who had subprime mortgages for people who aren't perfectly well qualified to buy homes. And so we've really seen lenders start to constrict who they'll lend to and push, all this lending standards much higher.
So you say banks are, though, offering more subprime mortgages for people who don't have that perfect score? Or?
That's sort of the trend that we had seen over the last couple of years because homes were so expensive. People just didn't have all the down payment money, all the perfect credit. Actually, let me just break down prime versus subprime mortgage, because a lot of people have a lot of confusion about what subprime means. Really, mortgages come in two flavors, and that's prime and subprime. Prime mortgages are mortgages that are lent to people who have traditionally really strong qualifications. Great credit scores, lots of money down, lots of income, so that their mortgage payment monthly is a small percentage of what they bring home every month.
And so they get a better rate on their loan.
They get great rates, great terms, that sort of thing.
Right.
So by contrast, subprime are loans to the rest of us.
right.
The
Loans to
majority.
People, yeah, really. And in the Bay Area, really the majority, because many people don't have 20% to put down or that sort of thing. So when we talk about the subprime mortgage market, we're really just talking about that industry of banks who lend to people who are less than perfectly qualified.
It's so important that you make that distinction, because when you hear the term subprime, it can be misleading. It can make you think below prime, but actually you're paying more for the loan when you get a subprime loan.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the qualifications that are subprime, not the interest rates that are subprime. That's a great distinction.
So should you still get it if you want to go buy a home? That's the only way to get the money you need?
Well, that's the thing, is people ask all the time, is a subprime loan a good deal or not? For so many people, it's really the only deal that's available to them. But they should walk into it knowing that they are going to be charged significantly higher, especially in this market. They're going to be charged significantly higher than average interest rates. And a lot of the banks that are still making subprime loans are tightening up their standards in other areas. So if they'll lend the money to you, they'll charge you more for it, and they may require you to show that you make more money, to show that you have more assets in the bank, that sort of thing. So
let's localize it a little bit. How is all of this crisis, if you will, in the lending market affecting the Bay Area real estate market?
Fairly dramatically, I'd say. In the Bay Area, houses are so expensive that very few people have 20% to put down, and it takes years and years and years for people to save 20%. And the other thing is that people do spend a really large proportion of their monthly income on their mortgage payments. Those two elements mean that really the vast majority of loans that we're seeing get made in the Bay Area are subprime loans. So when those loans become less available, which is kind of what's happening right now because of all the lenders going out of business, there are just people who cannot buy. And that's bad news for sellers who already were sort of in a bad situation. We were already in a buyer's market with, supply kind of outpacing demand. So basically, buyers who are well qualified in this market have seen an intensified buyer's market.
It's especially tough for first-time home buyers and young couples who want to buy, or young singles for that matter.
Definitely, but there are some little silver linings out there. Some of the county and state first-time home buyer or down payment assistance programs have recently expanded their criteria so that you can buy more house and still get some assistance. That sort of thing.
Is it tougher for women than for men to borrow?
Yeah, unfortunately, the whole subprime mortgage fallout has really disproportionately impacted women.
Yeah.
The statistics show that about 40% of women, home buyers who are buying on their own, put 5% or less down on their homes. And so those are the loans that we're really just not even seeing on this market right now.
Well, you have some tips for us to help us buy or just borrow money. And the first one is get pre-approved by more than one lender.
Definitely. As a realtor and being active in this market, I have seen some real horror stories with buyers who get into contract to buy a home, put their deposit down, even sign their loan papers, and then the lender goes out of business before they fund the loan. It is devastating for not just for the buyer, but for the sellers too, who were ready to move. So what I'm encouraging people to do is to work with a mortgage broker who has just a lot of relationships with multiple reputable, solid, long-term lenders, so that if something happens to your first choice loan, you still have something for backup.
That's good.
You also suggest that you should save up or scrape up at least 10% as a down payment?
Yeah, I hate to say at least, because it's not the case that there's nothing out there for people with less than that. But definitely, lenders know. They've had now all this recent experience with foreclosures, and they're aware that the riskiest loans are those loans that they make to people who put zero down. Because those people are just statistically much more likely to walk away from their home and let it foreclose if they get behind on their payments. So the flip side is the lenders are really rewarding people who are putting 10% down by offering them great rates, great terms, and it's just much easier to even get a loan.
Right.
We all know we should have really good, strong credit score, but you say right now it's more important than ever. We should take some aggressive steps to improve our credit score?
Absolutely. And I think people have this misconception that you have to pay off all your bills and do something really radical or long-term to increase your credit score, when in fact there really are some fairly simple and fairly short-term things you can do to increase it quickly. One of the tips that I give a lot is to pay all of your bills down to about 30% of their credit limit. That actually dramatically and quickly increases your credit score.
That's a good one, yeah. And you also say we should stay in action towards our goal. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate, but when I'm out there talking to home buyers every day, I'm seeing a lot of people who I know as a professional, can buy right now, but they're talking themselves out of it. They've seen stuff in the news that made them think that they couldn't get a mortgage, even though they actually could. And it's a real shame because it's such a fabulous market for buyers right now. Tons of homes on the market to choose from. Actually, the subprime fallout has had the great effect for buyers of narrowing the qualified buyer pool even more. So buyers who are well qualified on this market have incredible negotiating power vis-a-vis sellers. So it's just a shame to talk yourself out of it without at least having a professional give you some assessment of your purchasing power.
Stay committed to your goal and read Tara Nicole Nelson's book. It'll help you.
That's right. With more tips, yes. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Tara.
a lot.
Come back again.